go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you.
Welcome everyone to the CriticalX League, hosted by CriticalX, powered by Game.tv. I'm host therealCCV, and today we have a great match. I mean, we are currently in the midst of the match. That's going to be Reckoning Esports versus Team Mwaha. And right now we're in the middle of the match. I mean, the match has already taken place quite a lot. I mean, actually half the match has already taken place offline due to some technical issues. We weren't able to stream it, but at the moment it is 5-1 in favor of Reckoning Esports. They are now on the defense, and they have chosen to defend basement first. And having a look at the operator bans, we have Capita and Thatcher being banned, and Cade and Maestro being banned. So Reckoning Esports, they banned Thatcher and Maestro. They banned Capita and Maestro. Meanwhile, Team Mwaha banned Thatcher and Cade. So it's very clear, very clear agendas from both the teams were noticed. You know, Team Mwaha really focused on the idea of hard breach. Okay, so a rehost has been called, but don't worry, we'll be just back. Until then, we'll talk about the pre-map bans and the league standings also. So just take a moment. We're coming back. Okay, so while the players join, we'll have a look at the map ban lobbies, though, I mean, all of us know that Clubhouse has been selected, but we'll just go over the map bans first. The first ban came from Team Mwaha, that was Cafe being banned, followed by Consulate being banned from Reckoning. So two, very larger maps, and it's quite interesting to see that those two were the first bans, followed by Villa also. So I really was expecting Clubhouse to be banned by Reckoning, but that wasn't the case, as Border has been banned by Reckoning as their second ban, followed by Theme Park, and finally Coastline was also banned. So even yesterday we saw Reckoning Esports banning Coastline. That was also a thing. So maybe it's not their map, but now we have settled on the map of Clubhouse. And before we jump into the game, we'll have a look at the group standings as well. And right now, yesterday it was Reckoning Esports versus Mercenaries, and Mercenaries ended up winning the game. So they now are on 20 points, meanwhile Reckoning on 22 and Mwaha on 26. So the outcome of this match doesn't change who'll win, and doesn't change the league standings at all. All these teams in Group D are going to stay in their respective positions for now, and none of that will change. So it's good for the teams, it's just to have a last battle with each other before we move on to the double elimination phase, the second half of the league. But before we jump into the game, the final, I would like to talk about the operator bans also, since I don't think we'd have time in the game to talk about those. Thatcher and Cade was banned by Team Mwaha. Meanwhile, Reckoning Esports had banned Capita and Maestro. So, like I said, very clear agendas by both the teams in terms of who's doing what. Team Mwaha really focusing on the ideology of hard breach, and they want to revolve around it, with Thatcher and Cade being banned. Meanwhile, Reckoning Esports followed on something completely else. They followed on support, not just support, but away from hard breach, with Capita and Maestro being banned. So these are two very different teams, and at the moment it is Reckoning Esports who are winning 5-1 to be more specific. So let's see if they end up winning this match and they get a sort of a revenge from yesterday's match, and they have a little taste of victory before we move into the double elimination phase, or whether it is Team Mwaha who stay unbeaten, but at the moment it is looking heavily in favor of Reckoning Esports. So Team Mwaha might just be dethroned, and it might just be down to Quantum G1 and Kira Esports remaining the two undefeated teams. But that was all that I had to say. Meanwhile, we'll come back in just a second with the rest of the match. Thank you for watching. Okay, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round number 6. That's going to be the start of the defense of Reckoning Esports and the attack of Team Mwaha. And we'll be once again seeing the Church and Arsenal hold coming from Reckoning Esports. We didn't get to go over their setup in the previous round before the rehost, so we'll talk about that now. We already talked about the operator bans and the map bans itself. But as of now, two hard breaches from the side of Team Mwaha. That's going to be Hibana and Thermite. Meanwhile, Buck is also there, and your two supports, that is Nomad and Zofia. On the defense side, you have Pulse being played by your average R6 player, and Pulse is a very important operator, though one thing can happen. We can see Buck vertical playing from 2 floors above, that is logistics, and Pulse and his C4 tricking, though Pulse will be able to spot Buck, not his C4 trick won't work on him, and Buck will be safe from all those things. But still, if Thermite plans on opening the hatch in kitchen, he might just be prone to the C4s by Pulse, so anything can happen for now. Mute and Bandit are also being played right now, so that's another thing. But I'm also excited to see whether Mute plays the role for an anti-breacher or whether Bandit fulfills that role all by himself. But I'm gonna look at basement for now. Very standard setup, nothing special about it. And we can see in Furnace we are making small holes into the entrance of kitchen, and that's most likely to deter off attackers from coming in from freeze as well as coming in from the window, so they can be picked off if they try and jump in. The defenders will have a very nice angle, and apart from this also you still have Pulse as your second line of defense, so even if they aren't able to pick the attackers off, Pulse will still be able to get them with his cardiac sensor. On the side we have a lot of line of sight holes being placed. Meanwhile, Bandit is reinforcing the rightmost wall or the nearest wall to main stairs, and barbed wire being placed by him. He doesn't have C4. That's quite interesting. Nexus, our Thermite, going to the roof near Jacuzzi. Meanwhile, Mello has already taken control of Billiards, and second floor control is something we haven't seen for now. First floor control is something we haven't seen from the side of Reckoning for now. As a matter of fact, second and first floor completely left empty by them. This is a very anchor heavy setup. You have Smoke playing in dirt. Your Pulse is still playing in armory. You have two defenders playing in Church, and finally you have Rats playing the default Jaeger position behind the generator in utility, watching the cams. So once again, a very anchor heavy setup. What this allows for Team Mwaha is to gain rapid control of the map. It's 1 minute has gone by. Nexus has completely droned out second floor. Buck is already entering first floor along with Zofia, who is playing by lounge at the moment. Buck has started with vertical play. C4 is on the hands of unknown gamer for now. He might throw one at any moment, and something has blasted off. Maybe I believe that's one of the breach charges that is one of the breach charges that Nomad had, and she used that to open the hatch on construction. She collects her drone back, and we have a look at Hibana now. Half the round is now gone. Vertical play is the aggressive thing that Team Mwaha are focusing on right now. I believe no hatches are open. Thermite is opening something, and I think it is Dirt. Thermite has opened Dirt, and he has moved away from now. So Smoke has to be careful of that angle. I think Smoke has also been droned out. But in the meanwhile, we see Hibana opening the hatch in kitchen, and Buck vertical playing from the counter, and that's the thing. Oh, I have suffered the consequence of vertical playing from the counter. C4 can really hurt him. Whether anyone's going for a C4, I believe not. All the C4s have been used up. One defender will be spotted, but he'll move back. Buck will provide cover fire once again, but will prove unsuccessful as in furniture Smoke stuck in dirt, and attackers are pushing him rapidly. Flashbang will be thrown to get the to burn the ADS charges, and once again Hibana will be and with the ADS charge being burned, Hibana knows that she can enter very rapidly, and Mello also destroys the shield with the Zofia grenade. 30 seconds left. Now the attackers need to be a little more aggressive, because Buck is getting tagged at the moment, but Dhanu holding the main crossfire on Armory and Church, and she might just be the one who may get 1 or 2 picks. Yeah, she does spot Pulse, but unfortunate to land shots on him, as Smoke still trying to hold off the attackers. He has been concussed by Zofia's grenade, and Zofia will be pushing in, though Smoke unfortunately loses the gunfight. Refrag comes from your average R6 player, proves useful, and the Buck death also proves useful for them. Hibana, your average R6 player, is on a triple kill. Hibana gets the plant successfully down, and Pulse also dies in the process. 2v1 now as Rats gets a kill onto Nexus. That means Hibana is the last one standing. She gets 1 kill onto Vortex, but Jaeger is still peeking out for her. Jaeger is peeking aggressively, and Hibana or Jaeger, anyone can win the gunfight. Hibana has the ACOG, but Jaeger has the full health. And oh, those vertical holes might just reveal the location of Jaeger, not virtually and not visually, but by the sound. And I think Hibana knows about his position. Hibana is watching the drop. Jaeger has already dropped. He'll be peeking wide out. Jaeger will be tagged, but it is Hibana who wins the round, and Team Mwaha win round number 7 and make it 5-2. Once again, Reckoning will be going back to Church, as Valkyrie has been picked instead of Jaeger. So I think they're trying to confuse them, but it's the same attacker lineup regardless. So in all honesty, it doesn't really matter whether they go for these small tricks with Valkyrie later changing on to Pulse, but as a matter of fact, she isn't. So we still have Valkyrie. I mean, she'll have her C4. Bandit doesn't bring a C4. That's a very interesting thing, you know. Pulse, not just his own C4, but the C4s of his fellow defenders as well. Those can also prove very useful, and now more so than ever, because Reckoning Esports know the Team Mwaha are really focusing on kitchen and vertical playing into Armory, whether that be Hibana, whether that be Zofia, Buck, anyone. And that's why I think Vortex should bring a C4, and Jaeger already brings one set of barbed wire. So it is a trade, but I think the pros outweigh the cons. But that's not what Reckoning Esports are going for at the moment, as Bandit will lay his barbed wire on the main hall. Another mute jammer, one mute jammer will be placed in dirt to prevent any sort of drones droning out in Furnace, your main smoke. But the attack is coming in from warehouse now. The attack is now coming in from warehouse, and they'll try and I think with Zofia entering from warehouse, she'll try and get. Oh, she has already entered. So once again, this control, this early 30 seconds have passed, and yet Zofia's taken control of majority of the first floor, at least at least the eastern and at least the northwestern side, that is billiards, that's bar stage and all. Now Zofia is making her way into lounge. Jaeger is playing by blue, so he might be able to get into a firefight and he might be able to contest her long enough. But Hibana is also there by garage. Zofia has placed a claymore to prevent any runouts or to prevent any late flanks from oil pit, especially Jaeger. Jaeger's like to go for a flank. Yeah, that's a fact. And but apart from that, Thermite now rappelling back near dirt. He still has both of his exothermic charges, so he'll use one to open up dirt. And I believe there is no mute jammer in dirt. There is none at the moment, so Thermite will be successful in opening. An unknown gamer will be successful in getting a kill onto Hibana. So now with Hibana being gone, it is all down to Thermite to try and open the hatch on kitchen. Melo will get a kill onto Infernus, and that means it is currently 4-4. Jaeger has been spotted in lounge, and Thermite will be trying to pick him off, but Buck over here holding the angle onto Church and trying to get any kills on any defender, any anchor that's playing inside. But he has spotted Bandit behind the boxes, and I think a drop might be coming from Buck at any moment. He is watching the angle on the boxes, but Bandit is playing very, very laid back at the moment. That's a good thing from Vortex. Zofia's stun grenade will go down and will concuss Bandit. Meanwhile, Rats goes down by the C4 that was placed earlier. So a nice C4. But Buck will also go down by the hands of Unknown Gamer, and he'll eventually die as Melo picks up a kill onto Vortex. So that means Bandit is now gone. Jaeger is also now gone as Dhanu gets the final kill onto your average R6. And that means Team Mwaha win round number 8. Okay, this time CCTV and Cash will be picked by Reckoning Esports. So they're trying to readjust, and this time we'll actually see Valkyrie being played. So just like the previous round, we are also seeing Valkyrie being played. Meanwhile, we on the side of Team Mwaha, we also have the same lineup. We have Zofia Nomad, the two Hard Breaches, and finally No Skill playing Buck, and the same lineup on Reckoning Esports as well. So they're not trying to outsmart their opponent, but rather outplay them. As we'll have a look at the CCTV hold that's going to be provided by Reckoning Esports in just a second. Rotation will be will be made by Infernus, connecting rafters to CCTV. And this is something, and this is a thing that teams usually, well, I'm saying usually, but quite often overlook. It's this leftmost wall on rafters to CCTV. Of course, if you have a rotation connecting rafters to CCTV, what you usually do is you have someone playing rafters. In this case, Cade has been banned, so I think someone else will play. But the rotation, but the reinforcement that Rats just did, that's very important. Because if that rotation reinforcement is not present, your rafters play is really vulnerable once the main breach happens. Though, you still have Maverick, though Maverick isn't being played. So with Buck being played, I think vertical play will be something that Team Mwaha are looking for. Zofia can also go for the vertical play as a few holes, a few line of sight holes have been spotted in the entrance of stockroom, and shots have been provided in the entrance of stockroom as Hibana moves on to the roof, and so does Buck eventually. Next is once again Thermite coming in from construction. So right now it feels like a construction heavy strat coming from Team Mwaha. You do have Smoke playing in Cash, no defenders playing aggressive in bedroom or gym, though you still have I think it is IQ playing in basement, and Dhanu is going for a frag on her, though I think she moves back, and if a late flank might just be provided by by Valkyrie herself, sorry, not IQ, Valkyrie herself. Jaeger gets dragged to 50 HP as he moves back to lounge now, checking for any vertical play, doesn't spot any, he moves back to side because all the attackers now are on construction. Buck opens the main opens the main stairs wall, and this is where Valkyrie can shine. This is her time to shine. Though I believe there are several air jabs placed, she can jimmy her way through them, and she might be able to get a few frags. And even if she gets one, maybe two kills, a hard breacher would be the best case scenario. But Buck dying or any other operator dying would really mean a lot, as the man advantage would be lost. No deaths now, so still 5v5. A lot of chaos. Well, chaos is happening in general, as Zofia and Thermite are on construction. And Hibana gets tagged but gets a kill onto Rack, so that means Jaeger is now gone. Mute is peeking wide on the top east wall, but he'll be taken out as he gets a headshot onto Hibana. Beautiful shot if we are coming from smoke. Sorry, not Mute. Valkyrie in the process gets tagged and eventually dies by the hands of no skill, the Buck. As now we move on to a 3v4. 45 seconds now left, as a smoke canister will go on the construction entrance, connecting Cash. Melo gets a kill onto Vortex, and that means Infernus might be providing for a flank. Does spot Nomad, but Nomad takes him out, as it is now down to a 1v4. An unfavorable situation for Mute. He peeks out wide. He does have the SMG, but it is Zofia who wins the gunfight, and Team Mwaha win round number 9. This time, Reckoning Esports will regroup themselves and they'll move to basement, as Legion, Vamai. Okay, there's a lot of picks happening from Vortex, but I think Vamai is the one they have chosen. They have. Okay, so Vamai has been chosen. Most likely he will once again come with the shield. And with the shield being played, I think Reckoning will try and contest the long hallway more. Usually we see a shield in the next parallel to this beer rack and the beer table that is there, and we see shield, and there are several rotations provided to the defender to enter armory and to back off into church as well. Though that may not be the strategy, and though that may not be the plan that Reckoning are going for at the moment. My shield will be placed in dirt, and Smoke also has a shield. His shield will also be much more valuable, but for now it is the line of sight holes that are being placed in the window, and once again same line of sights will be provided in the long hallway. So they are trying to contest long hallway from the outside, from armory and from church itself, rather than holding it from the inside, just like dining room in cafe. That's a good comparison. That's a good analogy. Dining room in cafe, that's also similar. That's also the similarity of how defenders hold it. But apart from that, this isn't cafe that we're talking about. Cafe was yesterday. This is Clubhouse, and with 30 seconds now being gone, Zofia has once again taken real aggressive control of lounge. She has walked back. She has taken control of lounge, billiard, bar, stage, everything, and she's now into all pit. I believe she'll go for her same claymore, though this time Jaeger might be expecting it, and he might just shoot it out. Can you shoot the claymore out? I'm not sure. I mean, on the ladder you don't have your gun out, unlike CS:GO, but I believe he can just slip past it. He can be very fast, and then the claymore would burst with a delay, and I think Jaeger would definitely take a little damage, but not necessarily die. But that's for later. At the moment, Jaeger is playing by utility room, watching the stairs. Meanwhile, a pre-placed C4 by Pulse, watching out for any attackers, doesn't spot any at the moment, and he has to be very careful. I have to say that's very smart from his side. I think he accidentally placed his C4 there, and now he collects it. That's nice. That's something to learn. You learn something every day, and if you don't, you're living wrong, is someone's ideology. But apart from that, Mute blasts his C4, but to no avail, as all the attackers are at 100 HP. Moto hatch will be opened as Buck has started with vertical play. Hibana heavily tagged on the kitchen window, as her Hibana pellets open the hatch on kitchen. Buck now on the counter, looking out for any defenders, and C4 goes down from Pulse, but still doesn't damage the attackers by a lot, as Buck has started with rapid vertical play. Pulse is looking out for them. Melo will get a kill onto Vortex, so that means Vama is now gone, and that means dirt control has been taken by the attackers. Pulse stuck in a very bad position as he also dies by the hands of Zofia. 3v5 now, 45 seconds now left. And Jaeger is going for flank, and this is the exact thing I talked about. Jaeger now managed to get through that Claymore as he's back looking for revenge. Doesn't spot any attack outside of kitchen, looking for the drone. Oh, melee is the drone, trying not to alert the attackers. And speaking of not alerting the attackers, Mute is in a very bad state. He spots Zofia and gets a kill on her. The plant is going down. Infernus gets a kill onto Raxen, and Buck also dies. So the plant is going down, and this flank from Jaeger might just prove valuable. Nexus will go down with a successful plant, though he is cornered off and he'll be taken out. That means Dhanu is the only surviving operator. Jaeger will die by the hands of a Mute on really low HP. It's all down to Smoke. Smoke doesn't have any of his canisters left. No C4s, no utility, nothing left by the defenders for now. Mute will be spotted and he will also be taken out, as Smoke is the only surviving operator. 100 HP. Nomad looking out for him, and she will be successful as Team Mwaha win round number 10 and make it 5-5. Now, whichever team wins this round means they have gained match point, and this is the league's matches. This isn't an elimination phase. So what that means is there is no overtime. There is, however, the possibility of a draw. And looking at how closely this match is going, I mean, both the teams have both the teams have played really well. It was the early aggression and the early win rate of Reckoning Esports 5-1 it was after the first half, but it is the comeback of Team Mwaha as well that has made it 5-5. So of course no outcome changes the league standings, and right now those are the more important things. This match, this isn't a match that if you win you qualify or anything like that, but still, I mean, teams like to play. Reckoning Esports will be looking for revenge, and Team Mwaha will be trying to stay undefeated in their group. But apart from that, on a more serious note, whoever wins this round means they have gained match point, and means it is at least going to be a tie for them. So they are at least going to get 1 point out of this match. But whichever team loses, or they have to try their best in the next round, they'll have to hope for a tie. So it will after this round is over, it will become the dream of one team becomes the reality of another. One team will be dreaming for a tie, and for the other it will become a reality. And yeah, that's a nice quote. I'm making nice quotes today, I feel. But we see the majority of the attackers coming in from construction and warehouse, and so I think it will be a clear roam. I'm yet to see any Hibana or any Thermite coming in from Jacuzzi, the western side. All of them are coming from the north, and more specifically northeastern side. The hatch in Jacuzzi will be opened as Buck will make his way. The hatch in logistics will be opened, sorry, as Buck will make his way onto the roof now, planning on dropping from there, I believe, as IQ is with him, looking out for any Valkyrie cam, spots one and shoots it out eventually, as Castle still playing in cash. No Mira, there's not a lot of information. Nomad peeks wide out, but she gets tagged heavily and she has to fall back. She needs a little more support, and Zofia is droning her out, though I think they've missed Castle completely. Thermite will open the wall, though it will be impacted. That's very nice, and Thermite will also die by the hands of your average R6 player. So that means it is a 5v4. Melo is watching the crossfire onto the tables in cash, but not spotting Castle. Now Castle is holding his ground, and that's a good thing. He needs to delay the attackers as much as he can, trying to look for anything. He still has one impact grenade, and with Hibana being dead, with Thermite being dead and there being no Hibana, there is no possibility of hard breach anymore. Yeah, that's it. Everyone's now unfortunate. All your hard breaches are dead. IQ will be peeking out right. IQ goes down, and so does the diffuser with her. Meanwhile, Buck gets a frag onto Rats, and Unknown Gamer gets a kill onto No Skill. So that means Dhanu and Melo are the only two surviving operators now left. Nomad peeking out wide. Nomad spots Castle, but Castle spots her. Diffuser is still dropped, and I think Castle knows about that. You need a little more defenders paying attention to the diffuser, and but I think it's very passive. I think they know that diffuser doesn't matter really as much as the man advantage does. Castle still watching the entrance, still looking out for Nomad. Nomad trying her best to spot him and try to kill him. And I think Nomad will try to drone him out, but no, unfortunate for Team Mwaha completely, as Zofia misses her impact, and Nomad also dies, so it means she is the only attacker now left. Cover fire will reveal her location, and she'll try her best, but I think it is going to be Castle who eventually wins the gunfight. He is looking out for her, but so is Valkyrie. And Mello gets a kill onto your average R6 player. Infernus is peeking out wide. Castle also gets taken out. 2v1 now. Oh, Tides, my turn. And she jumps in. Doesn't have the diffuser for now. She has to collect the diffuser, or she has to go for the kills. Diffuser seems the more viable strat, but she'll go for the kills at the moment. She's peeking wide in bathroom. Jaeger has been spotted. Jaeger's behind the shield. Cover fire can be provided by Bandit. No, it isn't. It is Jaeger who'll stay behind the shield, and he will win the round for Reckoning Esports. And Reckoning Esports, they have protected their bombs. The diffuse wasn't able to go down. The diffuser was dropped dead along with Thermite along with IQ very early. And that meant, either you had to collect the diffuser or you had to go for the kills, and Zofia couldn't do any of them. And Reckoning Esports, finally, after a streak of losing, they win that round, and at the most crucial time as well, as they have gained match point. So what that means is it will be at least a tie for Reckoning Esports, so they are bound to get 1 point. Meanwhile, if they win this round also, it will be a loss for Team Mwaha and no points awarded to them. Meanwhile, Reckoning will get 3 points. But the league standings will stay the same regardless. Apart from that, we'll now move on to basement, being held once again by Reckoning Esports. They have Legion this time, as IQ has been 6th picked previously from Hibana from the side of Team Mwaha. We might just see a little aggression from Jaeger Rats over here, but that might be there to create a little fear for Team Mwaha, as well, as they know if both those windows are open, the defenders will be expecting something. No Skill has spotted the opening of both those barricades in stock as well as in kitchen, but nothing being done about it right now for the defenders. Infernus still playing by the shield, as we move on to Jaeger, who's playing in church right now. This time Nomad will be coming from main entrance now, as once again second floor has completely been droned out, and Zofia is a little more passive from Mello right now, as she is droning everything, so I think she'll take control of everything in one complete sweep. Jaeger has, I don't think he has been spotted right now, but I think his location is known, as he creates line of sights in all the way into Moto. But Legion holding the ground, no pulse there. The only C4 wielding operator at the moment is Mute, that is Unknown Gamer. He has a C4 ready in main entrance, and this just feels like a standard, every time it's a basement hole, I move on to him. He throws a C4 to no avail, unfortunately, just like the previous times. But it's still a nice lineup to know, it's like those CSGO smoke lineups. You just hold those, and then when you feel the time is right, you play those. But speaking of playing that, we see No Skill playing that buck, as he once again gets onto the counter. C4 has been wasted, so no utility in terms of a C4 now. Jaeger is still holding utility room along with Bandit, and they're holding a crossfire for each other, but no attacker is coming there from there at the moment. And still another, I don't think there isn't a claymore from Mello, though Mello has dropped into oil pit. Bandit will be peeking out wide. Mello's location is now revealed, but so is Bandits. Rats will get the first pick onto Dhanu, so that means Nomad is now gone. 50 seconds left. The attackers have to start getting a little aggressive now, as concussion grenades will be provided by her, but there is a Jaeger ADS. Coming back to Moto now. Vortex unfortunately dies by the hands of No Skill, so that means Buck picks up frag onto Bandit. And what that means is Jaeger has to hold his ground low on HP, and with no HP, Legion also gets picked off by Melo, so that means it's all down to a 2v4 now. Infernus has also been spotted in dirt. He still has 3 of his canisters. And Unknown Gamer all the way back behind the bar in church, and you'll see breed charges and buck skeleton keys and thermite exothermite. So it is complete chaos at the moment. Smoke has been spotted. Mute has a shotgun out, though he has also been spotted. Melo unfortunately team kills Nexus. Oh, that's going to prove very, very unfortunate. 3 seconds. Plant is going down from IQ. Infernus gets tagged heavily. If the plant can successfully go down, it has. So it's all down to Infernus. All of Reckoning Esports teams rely on this one man himself. Three attackers is what he has to go through. IQ still there, and IQ will unfortunately die. Not sure what she was holding over there. Zofia will be holding the angle, and she takes him out as Team Mwaha win round number 12 and make it 6-6. That means it is a tie, and both teams gain 1 point, and well, that is it. It is a draw. Let's look at the final scorecard. You can look at it for as long as you want, but that doesn't change the fact that both teams played absolutely tremendously. Especially one player in specific, that is Melo, picking up 13 kills for his team. 13 kills and 2 deaths. That is amazing. That's a KD of 6.5. Oh, I wish we could. I wish I could have that KD except for PUBG Mobile as well. But all jokes aside, before we part off for the day, we'll have a look at the league standings as well. And this match, like I said previously, this match doesn't change anything. Team Mwaha will have 3 draws to their name. That is very, very interesting. 3 draws. It is highly unlikely that we see a draw, but 3 in the case of them. No losses. So them, Quantum G1 and Kira Esports are going to be the 3 teams who are going to move into the double elimination phase completely undefeated for now. And that's a record. But Reckoning Esports will count this as another draw, as they'll get 1 point and they'll be on 23 now. Meanwhile, Team Mwaha on 27. So same standings. And on Group D, we now have Team Mwaha, Reckoning Esports, Mercenaries, and Area 69. These are going to be the 3 teams that are going to qualify for the double elimination phase. Huge congratulations for them. And for Big Nubs, it was a good run from them, but unfortunately it's a very close battle with Team Area 69. But they aren't able to close the gap, and they only had 1 match, and they aren't able to close it off, as their run will be ended. And Team Area 69 will be qualifying by the 4th position, Mercenaries on 3rd, Reckoning on 2nd, and Team Mwaha on 1st. So a huge round of applause from these teams. This was the 3rd last day of the league standings. Just 2 more days now left, and before that we'll now start off with the and before these 2 days, and sorry, after these 2 days are over, we'll start off with the double elimination phase. It's going to be a banger, and we just have 2 days now. So 2 days, they're going to be filled with excitement. Let's see if teams will have those qualifying games, and teams will be battling it out in a do or die state as well. But for now, this has been the CriticalX League, hosted by CriticalX, powered by Game.tv. I'm your host, therealCCV, and we'll come tomorrow with even more bang of matches. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.